Okay, back here with David Haynes on our discussion on how technology is changing the culture and the structure of the classroom, and an issue as far as the relevance of what we're doing in K-12 to how it's changing the culture of the students. One of the things that I see, particularly with flipped learning, is really a challenge that we've got in K-12 education, is to get the students and their parents more responsible in taking control of their learning. And in a recent thread, as far as in Moto talking about flipped learning, as far as the kids and the parents complaining, the teacher's not teaching. They're sending them to watch videos at home. So, and they're not used to that idea as far as the other type of utilizations of classroom time. So I think that's a challenge.
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of experience with that yet. I've never had a parent complain that I wasn't doing the teaching, that it was someone else, but or that I've already made the videos or that sort of thing. I could foresee that happening when there's more and more of these projects that are happening. The parent might just what are you doing during the classroom time, Mr. Haynes?
Right. 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 And I look at it, one of the things is, if I was actually in a traditional classroom situation, is I would basically say to the parent, okay, we stand up and talk at the kids during the day and then send them to as far as homework in the evening. Does it ever happen that your son or daughter is asking you for help and you have no idea what's going on, and they keep, finding the help? Wouldn't, as it says, it'd be a better utilization of time rather than us talking at the kid during the classroom time? They can do that at home to today's technology, watching the videos, and we can work with them as far as solving the problems, doing the projects.
Yeah, traditionally when we've given assignments or started a new topic, we send the student home with a textbook,
right,
read the chapter, maybe give them a couple days to get through the chapter, or read this section,
right,
come into class and we'll discuss it.
right.
Those days are pretty much gone. To send a book home and tell the kids to read a chapter, actually even when I was in high school,
right,
I'm sure there were plenty of times when I was told to go home and read the book and I didn't do it.
I wasn't very good at that myself. I will admit that.
But by the time I got to college, that's all it was.
Right.
It was all, you have to just take the book home and somehow ingest it.
Right.
And be familiar with the topic. And when you walked into a lecture the next day, the professor just looked at you and said, okay, what is this?
Right. And
you had to be ready with an answer,
right,
or it was terribly embarrassing,
right,
in front of all your fellow students.
Right, right. One of the things is that, I think a big thing in the culture of the kids that we see is the smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
As far as on that, and before I sort of point out is you want to make any observations of how you feel the smartphone has changed the nature of learning and the students' culture and their expectations?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is that their reading is limited to a phrase, not even a sentence anymore.
Right.
The texting is all shorthand.
Right.
We've gone to a shorthand kind of mentality in the way we communicate. An actual, well thought out, well structured sentence is very difficult to draw out of the kids. In science, we tend to have more succinct, simple sentences, but good writing is sort of going to the wayside because of this shorthand texting that's going on. The second thing is attention span.
Right.
I believe that the attention span it used to be 10, 15 minutes, and then you do some new activity. I think we're down to like under 5 minutes
Right.
in attention span now because of the instant switching from Twitter to Snapchat and the short blurbs that
Right.
they get.
Right. Yeah, definitely a little. It is more of an immediacy. And again, as far as another thing is the immediate demand of what they want. One of the things that I look at and see is with the music apps is that they can go and very personalize musical genres, and I see that as more personalized learning of what they want and willing to do.
Um, yeah. Well, I like the fact that the technology can help them to
Right.
personalize
Right.
everything.
Right.
If we can just get them to incorporate that in their learning.
Right.
The immediacy of a Google search
Right.
really, again, it makes it a little more individualized in the sense that they can find things
Right.
that they want to read that are interesting to
Right.
them, and then possibly write about those things. But some of the things that they'll find, the articles, again, tend to be short,
Right.
and the kids don't have the patience for anything that's much longer than a page or so on a cell phone.
Right.
So so it's a dichotomy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. One of the things, is that in the last couple of years, when I do get a question as far as on one of my hybrid online classes from a student, one of the first things that I will do is see if I can find a YouTube video to send to them instead of having me try to explain it. And again, as far as I think a challenge we have is maybe doing some rethinking, and given where the technology is going, is a better and more utilization of the multimedia platform and learning. And we'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit about that and what we may be able to do in that direction.